looks very relaxed. Is that a fair assessment of Nikita Tszyu?
Yeah, Nikita's come off a great camp in America and back in Australia now, just going through the motions really, and he's in a really great place.
What sort of test does Koen pose on Wednesday night?
Great test. I like Koen. I like him as a fighter and as a human, and he's going to bring it, no doubt. He's got great skills, and he'll bring the fight. But I think Nikita will be well and truly ready.
How do you assess his career? How's he tracking? Is he where you expected him to be at this point, Nikita?
Well, we're coming up on 10 fights, so we're getting towards that stage now where he's at the high end of the domestic level. There's still a few fights, I believe, to bring Nikita right through until we can safely say that he's out of that rookie stage of his pro career and we get on into the serious stuff. But every fight, as you know, is serious. But for Nikita, I'm really pleased with where we're at.
Does this get him some sort of a ranking? I read. What's the status of it?
Yeah, look, Australian champion helps. I think you'll start to see in the next few fights some of the regional titles will come in, which will kick him up in the rankings. But it's not something we even talk about at this stage, rankings. It's more activity, learning, maturing and growing in his craft. And as you know, he was out of the ring a long time, and it does take a bit of time to get back to where you want to be.
Saw some comments from Michael Zerafa over the past couple of weeks. What do you make of them? We'll start off with the one Sebastian Fondora was a prospect. What do you make of that comment?
Interesting. Hard to call someone that carries a belt a prospect. So I can't agree with that. It just doesn't make sense.
What have you made of, I guess, his comments and Nikita's back and forth over the last week or so?
Oh, look, I know Michael pretty well, and honestly, he's a divisive guy. His character is about being the bad guy, and he does that very well. So I don't read too much into Michael's stuff anymore because it is who he is, and he sells tickets and he's enjoying the being the bad guy. But I know the boys are having a bit of fun with it, but end of the day, Tim and Nikita, they're just fighters. They take care of the business in there. The rest is noise.
Could we see a Nikita Zerafa fight down the track? Is it fair to say the Tim fight that's gone? Would you say?
I said that after the Newcastle thing with Michael, that the Tim fight will probably never come to fruition. But look, there's no reason why we wouldn't look at Michael for Nikita. It's a very good domestic fight. It's probably a barn burner for Australian public and maybe considered one of the bigger fights in Australia. So there's no reason we wouldn't look at that. But again, I'm that manager that looks at every option. So whether it happens or not will depend on the deal and what lays ahead for Nikita and what other opportunities are there.
Massive news a couple of weeks ago. Tim Tszyu mandated for a title fight. We haven't heard much news since. What's the latest on that?
I think there's a bit of a holding pattern waiting for a couple of fights out the way, including Nikita's. Matt and I went over and got it finalised, so the deal's done. And we wait for PBC now to give the green light to, and I think it was just a matter of the right venue, the right information to go out once. And so I would think possibly end of the week. Can't put a time on it. It's not my call. It's no limits in PBC. But yeah, we're excited for Tim, and it was nice to get it sorted while we were there.
How big an opportunity is this for Tim to sort of get back up there as the top guy in the division?
Elevates Tim straight back to where he was pre-Fundora. And under the circumstances with Fundora, I think most agree that given he didn't get that cut, we probably would have had a couple of belts. But Tim becomes the IBF champ, and then that opens the doors then to go and formally take on the division belt holders and unify. And I think you'll see the next 24-25 for Tim Tszyu is going to be super exciting. We are talking mega fights. So for Tim, something really, really great to look forward to, but one step at a time.
Virgil Ortiz, you were there at that fight. How do you assess his performance in that fight?
I like Virgil Ortiz. I think he struggled a little bit at our weight, and I think Boachuk's a very good fighter. A lot of pressure, but both of those fights could easily end up with Tim Tszyu standing opposite him. But I think for us, I think our run will be the big names, and ultimately 2025 trying to get the rest of them belts.
We did see Turki Alalshikh, some comments there saying he won't work with Tim Tszyu. What do you make of all that?
Oh, look, I'm not sure that's the be all and end all. It wasn't really about that. It was just that Turki has some great ideas about what he wants to do, but we also have a roadmap and a pathway in place for Tim that's important to us. And on this occasion, it was better for us to continue on our path rather than jump to a new one. But certainly doesn't rule us out of dealing with him. The communication thing, I'm not even sure what that is. I know that it's been primarily Matt, Rose and Turkey. I haven't had much to do with it because it hasn't come to me as an offer. So at the end of the day, Tim's pathway is scheduled on what we want best for Tim, not what anyone else wants, and we won't wait round. And that's at odds with some promoters, the fact that we won't wait.